Hey, what's up, everybody? The V Club here. All right, so what's the V Club? The Villain Club. Easy to see, right? I might just call it VC. We'll see. But anyhow, this channel is all about just anything and everything that could be talked about, should be talked about in some cases, wants to be talked about, all that good stuff. I just want to give you my opinion on that sort of thing, give you a common sense on that spin to it, you know. And what you think about it, and so that's what I'm looking for here. And share with me your thoughts. So it could be all over the place in terms of just different topics and all that. Some days may be political driven, some days are just topics like Ocean Gate here, or gas, things like that. Other than that, this stuff that's in the news mainly, such as Kamala here, that we're going to talk about. So with that, let's get to it here. All right. And before you do, make sure that if you want to stay on top of this stuff, subscribe, hit the bell icon that we can stay on top of everything we got going on. I'm still trying to regrow my algorithms, the little bit of mini momentum I got. I changed it up, some things, and now I got to kind of like restart it again, and it takes time. That's what sucks about algorithms. But anyhow, so we all know that Kamala did her first sit-down interview a couple days ago, and she did it with MSNBC. So of course it's a left-leaning network that will, cater to Kamala in terms of just whatever it is, right? They will cater because that's just what they are. They're an arm of the Democratic Party, Progressive Party, whatever it is. They're the left network, right? And there's a lot of left leaning networks, right? You got ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, CNN, right? Look on the other side of the aisle, there's Fox, maybe sometimes News Nation. There's other facets globally, like Sky News, for example, I like watching, and things like that. So, of course, you're going to hear a lot more favoritism towards Kamala, even though she's terrible. All right, she's bad. She sucks. I mean, every time, when I hear Kamala, I think about this right here, right? This right here.
Recent polls have shown a fifth of Americans can't locate
Like
the
when
U.S. on a
when,
world map. Why do you think this
when
is?
Kamala talks, it reminds me of this.
I personally believe that U.S. Americans
Except
are unable to do so
she wasn't a pageant
because
queen. That's all.
some people out there in our nation don't have maps, and I believe that our education, like such as in South Africa and the Iraq, everywhere like such as,
And such as.
I believe that they should, our education over here in the U.S. should help the U.S. Or should help South Africa and should help the Iraq and the Asian countries, so we will be able to build up our future for our children.
And he was just like, but yeah, every time Kamala talks, it just reminds me of this chick right here. So, because like maybe like the use of words, she makes it sound, so poetic and so, inspiring, all inspiring and all that. But then when you really dig deep into what she's saying, it's just like, what the hell is she saying? What is she talking about? She doesn't answer the questions and all that stuff. So, two great breakdown analysis of some pieces of this because I don't want to play the whole interview. All right, but they get straight to the point. That's what I like about them. Is I want to play Jesse Waters, um, prime time here, where he kind of addresses some of the stuff that I agree with, that was pulled from that interview. Also, I want to pull from Sky News with this whole interview thing too. Um, Let me see here. I'll go with this one right here. This one is actually a good piece as well. Let me play this.
Time for lefties losing it, and I regret to inform you that Kamala Harris has sat down for an interview with a
Let me
leftist
get
activist
straight to that
masquerading as a journalist.
part of it here.
We'll
All
have
right, here we
the
go.
top three moments from that short.
Have asked you because you're real.
So basically, no matter how stupidly woke you are, it's not woke or stupid enough. Try harder. Now, Kamala finally sat down for a major network interview without a...
You know what's funny is Kamala came up with a new word that she's going to talk about, right, in her interview about being holistic this and holistic that. And dreams and she repeats the same stuff. Dreams and ambitions. If you have dreams and ambitions, and if you have dreams and ambitions, right? Like it's just kind of funny how Kamala is like does these things. So let me play this for you.
Momentous occasion. The leftiest of lefty hacks you could find on the lunatic MSNBC network. Here is Stephanie Rule on Bill Maher's show saying Kamala shouldn't be obliged to answer questions.
Ask.
Yeah, so he gets at, well, it's funny because he's an NBC journalist and he's like, Kamala doesn't answer the questions. And this is the journalist, supposedly, that interviewed Kamala, and she said, well, she doesn't have to answer questions. And it's like, are they running for president here? So they got to answer a lot of questions, you know what I mean?
Kamala say, are you for a Palestinian state if Hamas is going to run that state?
Okay.
Yes or no?
And let's say you don't like her answer. Are you going to vote for Donald Trump?
No.
The problem is let's just say you don't like the answer. The problem is she doesn't give an answer.
Oh, I'm not. I just said I'm not going to vote for her.
Kamala Harris is not running for perfect. She's running against Trump. We have two choices. And so there are some things you might not know her answer to. And in 2024, unlike 2016 for a lot of the American people, we know exactly what Trump will do, who he is, and the kind of threat he is to democracy.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is that at least Trump tells what he's going to do. And how is he a threat to democracy if Kamala was put in place of Biden? Biden got the boot, forced out, mind you. And how's that democracy? Especially if they never ran a primary to actually officially do it the right way with the Democratic, list of people that maybe potentially could have ran, right? But they did all these things, and how's that democratic, How's that a threat to democracy? That is a threat to democracy, what Democrats are doing. They're a huge threat to democracy, and they're just spewing it and really just deliberately, blatantly doing it in your eyes, and they're saying, what are you going to do about it? The only thing you can really do about it is don't vote for Kamala.
Yes, she has late-stage TDS. Let's look at some of the highlights, or should that be lowlights, of that interview. Here are Kamala's top 3 moments. This is exciting. The VP has learned a new word. Here she repeats that word 3 times in 13 seconds. See if you can guess what it is.
Looking holistically at the connection between that and housing, and looking holistically at the incentives we in the federal government can create for local and state governments to actually engage in planning in a holistic manner.
Here, Kamala attempts to answer a simple question about her economic policies. Does not go well.
It's funny because she's saying you take a holistic approach. When I think about holistic, right, like I'm thinking
For those who say
weird
these
stuff.
policies aren't for me, what do you say to them?
I won't go any further than that.
Well, if you are hardworking, if you have the dreams and the ambitions and the aspirations of what I believe you do, you're in my plan. I have to tell you, I really love and am so energized by what I know to be the spirit and character of the American people. We have ambition, we have aspirations, we have dreams.
Yes, she loves empty platitudes, and the vacuousness did not...
I don't get that, right? Like, she says all this bullshit all the time. It doesn't answer the question. She tries to sound, like I said, she tries to sound like inspirational and, oh my gosh, I'm so awe-inspiring, and it just sounds like a bunch of crap, right? And the funny thing too is like everybody's right. Like, everybody knows she doesn't answer the questions.
And there, neither did the lies, including this whopper.
Polling shows that most likely voters still think Donald Trump is better to handle the economy. Why do you think that is?
Well,
Straight up, because Donald Trump is a businessman. He understands the nature of running a business. Government is considered a large, if you want to consider that, you're running a large ass business. So you're managing a huge ass, budget. You're running a country, and he's proven it before. That's how. And when you see what Blue does, Democrats, all they do is spend. They act like they have no limits, and they like to just give money away, print money. That doesn't make sense to me.
here's what I know in terms of the facts. Donald Trump left us with the worst economy since the Great Depression when you look at, for example, the employment numbers.
It was during COVID, and employment was so high because we shut down the government, we shut down the country.
Even before the pandemic, he lost manufacturing jobs by most people's estimates, at least 200,000.
Now, that is an absolute lie. One so big that even CNN has called it out. Indeed, Trump had added hundreds of thousands of manufacturing jobs before COVID. He'd not lost them. From the beginning of...
That's interesting that CNN did a fact check on that, which is interesting.
his presidency in January 2017 through February 2020, just before the pandemic crash, 414,000 new manufacturing jobs were created. Let's bring in Sky News contributor Kosha Gator. Kosha, this interview was not good, and that's putting it mildly. And it was with an interviewer who did everything in her power to help Harris.
It was a holistic illustration. I think that was the word there, a holistic illustration of word salad and not saying anything, and a very friendly interviewer letting all sorts of misstatements or lies.
All right, so we know that, right? Here's another one I wanted to play. Here is Jesse Waters here. Good.
Kamala's first solo
He's
interview
very
on a
good.
major news network bombed. Harris came in 13th place on MSNBC. More people watched the WNBA than Kamala Harris. There's no appetite because we know what to expect, which is nothing. Kamala Harris isn't going to say anything for the rest of her life. Even if she wanted to, she's not allowed to. If you're looking for a vision, a plan, an explanation about her past, or even how she's going to accomplish what she wants to do, the only one who has the answer is Barack Obama. Maybe you'll run into him in Hawaii, the place where he was born. 2 days in a row, the New York Times agrees with Jesse Waters' primetime. Quote, basic and predictable questions with roundabout responses that did not provide a substantive answer, elicited few details. A hard-hitting Harris interview is still yet to come.
Yeah, and the way it's been going, I don't think it'll ever come. I mean, like, yeah, granted, she got put in place to run for president in a short time span, but shit. How can you go this far and not really say much if you really think about it in terms of what people want to hear? It's so easy just to say, this is what it is. This is how I'm going to do it, right? She says that she wants to do no taxes on the tip. She wants the border wall. Like, she's saying things that's just pandering to get the votes. And even Bernie Sanders said, hey, she's just being pragmatic, because, essentially what I just said, that, she's going to do whatever it takes to win over votes. And Bernie Sanders was saying that out loud, vocally, publicly saying that. So it's funny how the Democrats are blatantly in your face telling you what they're doing. They're doing things. And again, my question is, they're saying to you is, what the hell are you going to do about it, right?
Even CNN says Kamala Harris's interviews are biased, boring, and predictable.
What I can tell from this interview tonight, which was really a home game, I mean, going on with this particular interviewer, it was like effectively interviewing with her campaign's press secretary, she had nothing new to say on the economy beyond this ridiculous pablum. You want to talk about aspirations and dreams? They're crushed in this country because of inflation, and these kinds of interviews and the day that she had today are not going to solve it.
She spent 5 days off the campaign trail preparing for this interview.
That's funny that's happened. And also, she'll say contradictory things
And this is what she gave us.
almost like slamming
we have
Biden.
ambition. We have aspirations. We have dreams.
A chance to pursue their dreams and aspirations.
We can do more to invest in the aspirations, the ambitions, and the dreams of the American people.
We're going to invest in the aspirations and the ambitions and the dreams of the American people.
These are just buzzwords Obama's people tell her to say because she doesn't have a grasp of the issues and she can't be honest about her agenda because it's too radical to be electable. So the media has moved on to a new phase. Phase 1 was joy because she's not Joe Biden. Phase 2 was
Joy and excitement, like, oh, she brings us excitement now, and all the celebrities that endorse that, but they don't know anything that she's running on. They don't know anything about what she's going to do, but she brings excitement, right? But if it's been a shitty Democratic presidency the last 4 years, why would you still? What excitement is she really going to bring? Because it's still Democratic policies,
She's hiding from us, but that's okay. She'll eventually come around. Phase 3 was she had a great debate, but we still didn't learn anything. And we've arrived at phase 4. After a couple of interviews where she struggles to connect the dots, it's not her fault she doesn't answer questions.
Everything's blame Trump.
One could watch that and say, well, she didn't give a clear, direct answer. That's okay, because we are not talking about clear or direct issues.
Kamala doesn't need to be clear because the issues aren't clear. What's unclear about the issues?
That's
They've
the
lowered
dumbest
the
thing I've ever
bar
heard.
so much that Kamala not talking about the issues isn't her fault. It's the issues' fault. She was asked about making housing more affordable. Pretty clear issue for people who can't afford a house. How clear was she here? Listen.
Some of the work is going to be through what we do in terms of giving benefits and assistance to state and local governments around transit dollars and looking holistically at the connection between that and housing and looking holistically at the incentives we in the federal government can create for local and state governments to actually engage in planning in a holistic manner that includes prioritizing affordable housing.
All right, I'm with Jesse on this. Like, how's that going to help with affordable housing if you're going to look at transportation, incentivizing that, and going through this, quote-unquote, holistic approach? But what does that have to do with the cost of housing and all that to go down? Like, what is that going to do in a holistic way? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense at all.
What's holistic about housing? A yoga studio? And everyone gets 25 grand to buy one? That's going to cost $3 trillion. She said everyone that wants to start a small business gets a $50,000 tax.
And that's the problem with Democrats.
So I'm going to sell pickleball paddles on JesseWaters.com, and I can write
all
off
they're
50
doing is
grand.
handouts,
Johnny can sell fortune cookies on eBay and deduct 50 G's. Just like that. Kamala says inflation's a crisis, but it's Trump's fault. Then she says the border's broken, and it's also Trump's fault.
What would a Harris administration do for those communities who've taken in many, many legal immigrants but are at capacity?
Well, first of all, we do have a broken immigration system, and it needs to be fixed. And if we take a step back, months ago, some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress came together with others, proposed a border security bill. Donald Trump got word of the bill, realized it was going to fix a problem he wanted to run on, and told him to kill the bill. And my pledge is that when elected president, if the American people will have me, I will bring that bill back and I will sign it into law. And we need a comprehensive plan that includes what we need to do to fortify not only our border, but deal with the fact that we also need to create pathways for people to earn citizenship.
Now that's fucked up. All right. So not only that the floodgates were open, right, 10 million plus, and then she's talking about how she wants to pave the way with a pathway towards citizenship for all those illegals that came in the border that they allowed in, because she was border czar, she was, or is vice president. She let them in. They let them in. Biden's Harris presidency opened up the borders and let them in. When they said, "Oh, the border is fine, it's okay, it's not broken," to all of a sudden now it's broken, and it's Trump's fault. Right? Isn't that weird?
Kamala Harris let 20 million migrants into the country and spent 3 years lying that the border was secure. Then blames Trump for not fixing it and says she's going to give everybody citizenship.
It's fucked
How
up.
are you going to fix the border? And her answer is sign a bill that didn't fix the border and can't pass. Oh, and then mass amnesty?
That's really fucked up. It's like a gift that keeps on giving with the Democrats. And by the way, I did do a video breakdown. This right here. Illegal immigration, 2 border bills, right? I presented both border bills and the breakdown of those bills. And if you see what the Kamala bill was, or the Democratic bill was versus the Republican bill was, H.R. 2, big difference. I mean, it was pretty much what Kamala says in the other plan. It stems the flow of migrants coming in. It stems the flow of drugs coming in. But it doesn't stop it. And we need a stop at the border. We need to stop everything. Talk about hiring Border Patrol agents, right? How she claims, oh, it's a great thing. In the H.R. 2, they're hiring even more Border Patrol. All right, but H.R. 2 is more aggressive in closing the border, hire more Border Patrol, and mass deportation pretty much is what it was about. You should watch that video. I break down both bills. And actually, H.R. 2 sounds better because it stops the flow versus stemming the flow of what she wants to do.
Everybody we let in gets to stay and vote, she says.
It's fucked up.
Biden and Harris are already doing it. Look at this. With an election looming, the U.S. is approving citizenship applications at the fastest speed in years. Kamala's interview yesterday was so bad, Mark Cuban was sent out by the campaign to clean it up.
I don't think you can have an open southern border.
No, I agree. And she agrees, too. She said the exact same thing.
She had a chance.
And that's the thing, though, man. Like, Mark Cuban lost me. I was a fan of Mark Cuban when he was a Dallas Mavs owner, Shark Tank, all that stuff, right? And, Mark Cuban lost me now, man. Like, ever since he started becoming a vocal supporter of Kamala, it's like, it really shows how the millionaires and billionaires, celebrities and all that are really all about the Democrats, and they don't give a damn about people. That's what it is. And it's very, very skewed and slanted on, what you see is what really represents Democrats and what really represents Republicans, and Republicans is all about conservatism, family values, a lot more for the everyday people, whereas Democrats, they don't give a damn. They care about taxing, taking away your rights, right? They want to take your guns, and they claim they don't, but they do. They want to stomp away at everything of your everyday life. They want to do this new Green Deal bullshit. They don't want to do any fracking on, to be self-dependent on things like oil and stuff, right? This green policy bullshit of forcing everybody into electric cars, shit like that. All right, they don't give a damn, and they'll just keep raising prices on everything because they don't give a damn. Talking about how it's all about the big business, and they're trying to go after the big business for all those high, prices, and that's what's causing all the high prices when it's not. The printing of money causes the high prices. the uncontrollable spending of the government. Democratic government is the cause of high prices, and that's the problem. Stop the giveaways, all right? You want to stop, depending on other countries, stop allowing all this, low-cost labor coming in. Stop. How about incentivizing businesses for a change instead of being dependent on other countries for everything? Because that's what we're really kind of doing. We're outsourcing everything, and it's all because of democratic policies.
Yeah, but Joe, there's a lot of COOs that when the CEO leaves for whatever reason, come in.
So he's trying to argue that, even though, all this, border stuff and all this stuff was when Harris was in office, he's trying to defend her, saying, well, she's only, taking orders from the boss because, after all, she's only the vice president. And it's like, dude, the president appointed her as border czar. She could actually make some decisions, or at least say, hey, Joe, this is what's up, and go from there. But he's trying to make it sound like, well, I'm just taking orders and that's it. And I'm just going to go with that, even though she was appointed border czar.
And take over and have completely different policies and approaches, right?
You want to see different policies and approaches? Kamala, I think she will turn up the extremism than what Joe Biden was very extreme, all right? And Kamala will make it even more extreme with all the early bullshit talk she's already talking about. So, yeah, he's right. Maybe some of the policies are not going to be the same. It's going to be more extreme is what it is.
That's just the way it works. When you're second in command, you do what your boss tells you to do. He delegates authority to you.
But the border was supposed to be her.
Yeah, but it's still the same thing. It's his policies.
Biden wanted to open the border. Kamala was just following orders. She's just so loyal. But now, she's an independent woman. And for the first time, she'll be going to the border tomorrow, right before the election. I'm sure it
Which is today. She's supposedly supposed to go to the border today.
has nothing to do with the election. Trump says, not so fast.
For nearly 4 years, we have been living through the worst border crisis in the history of the world. There's never been anything like it.
I agree.
Which has brought untold suffering, misery, and death upon our land.
I agree.
The architect of this destruction is Kamala Harris. 325,000 children. Think of that. 3.5 years. She lost 325,000 children. Kamala Harris intends to stand before the American people tomorrow and lie. She's going to lie just like she did about her job at McDonald's, just like she did about the...
Yeah, I think the McDonald's thing that Kamala is telling, I think she's full of shit. I know that they, did research and they backed the claim that she, in fact, has not worked at McDonald's, but she's trying to sound like the common people, right? That I've been down there and stuff when you really haven't been. She really has not been at the bottom. Like, she's never hit rock bottom. She's always lied her way to the top, whether it was sleeping with Willie Brown, whatever it is, right? She's always connived her way to the top. And she just lies all the time, straight up, all the time, all in your faces.
818,000 jobs that they created that were fake jobs. They didn't exist.
They made jobs numbers, how they always post job reports, saying, oh, we've gained this many jobs, or oh, we lost this many jobs. They posted an initial jobs report saying, oh, we gained this many jobs, and then they had to walk it back because it was overinflated number, and it wasn't even the true number.
It's a fraud. And tomorrow she'll make a case that, oh, she did a fairly good job. You can't say much. You can't justify it. She should save her airfare. She should go back to the White House and tell the president to close the border.
Trump's been boxing her in all week like this. Before her economic speech, he hit up grocery stores and factories. Hey, where have you been, Kamala Harris? Before Kamala goes to the border, Trump comes out and asks, so what took you so long? Fix it now.
Yeah.
How can you trust the woman who broke the border?
Yeah, like, how can she not fix it now? She's already in office, even though she's vice president. She can always easily talk to Joe, and if she supposedly is the czar, she can easily close the border. Why do you have to wait to be president to do that? It doesn't make any sense.
Border to fix it. How can you trust Kamala Harris on anything? She told Oprah, if you break into her house, she's going to shoot you like Dirty Harry. But in 2007, when she was San Francisco DA, she sponsored a bill to confiscate every handgun in the city. Residents would have 4 months to surrender their firearms, and then Kamala and the government would come and take them. It was such a radical gun grab that even the gun control lobby was skittish. She bragged about
Democrats
going into American
are all
homes
about
for their
taking
guns.
your guns away. Yeah, they're all about taking your guns away. But yeah.
Just because you legally possess a gun in the sanctity of your locked home doesn't mean that we're not going to walk into that home and check to see if you're being responsible.
This is a woman who wants to seize your handguns by force, while she lets violent migrants into the country, who are going to be allowed to vote when she gives them amnesty. Oh, and they'll be given $25,000 checks to buy homes in your neighborhood. Oh, and they'll also be getting free sex changes on their way in.
All that's in reference to how California has completely opened the books for illegals, right? They'll give them cards, they'll give them cash, place to live, food, health insurance, which does cover free sex change operations. So they've, even they were trying to push to first-time home buyers assistance for illegals, which Gavin Newsom didn't sign the bill because he knew he would get a lot of heat for that.
She wants to give sex change operations to people in detention that came in illegally and are classified as illegal migrants. If they want a sex change operation, she said, that's okay, we'll do that.
This is a radically dark vision for the United States. She is the most committed leftist a major party has ever nominated in the history of this country. And what's even more dangerous is she's just so casual about it. Private health care, just get rid of it. American oil, ban it. Free speech, shouldn't be allowed to say that.
Yeah, she wants to get rid of private health care, meaning that you're going to be on cattle call, right? If you're at Kaiser, if you're at a Western Dental, for example, for a dentist's office, you're in a packed waiting room, and you could literally take hours to get called on, and then you only get seen for a little bit. You got to come back repeatedly just to get certain things done, certain procedures done. All right, that's cattle call, government-run healthcare that will just screw you over, and it sucks.
That your 401k went up, we're going to take some of that. Your gun, give it to me. Girls' locker room, sorry, not anymore. Schools during COVID, shut them down. Prisoners, let them out. Prostitution, legalize it. Heroin, decriminalize it. That's how she talks.
I mean, everything he said was fact. Everything he said was fact. I mean, that's what's happening right now in America. It's just a fact. And it's sad. Look at California, where I'm in. They've closed prisons. They've let out so many prisoners. It's sad. It sucks that, the laws are so lax, when it comes to, what's considered a felony, reoffending. They're so all about defunding police, open borders. It's sad. It sucks.
The ignorant breeziness with which she just rips your rights away is pretty scary. This lady with power, she'll be out of control. There'll be no checks on her. Someone whispers something to her ear, fine, do it. No thought at all. Harris is having a bad day, watch out. Kamala Harris is like a child. She hasn't put a single thought into anything and says whatever it takes to get a cookie. She doesn't share, she tattles. And on top of that, she's mean. And she's not allowed to sit at the grown-up table, no way, because she can't behave. She's coddled, spoiled, and she's sheltered from real life. She's like a child actress. Feed her the lines and cash the check. Click here to...
Yeah, it really sucks. So yeah, if you want Kamala for president, oh yeah, then this is what's going to happen though. So you know the interview.
Subscribe to the
so we all know what happened with the interview. It bombed. It was bad. It sucked. She doesn't answer questions once again. She's going to Arizona today. Can't wait to see the other side of what happens on the other side with you know, her trip to the border. And you know, that's a publicity stunt of all things. But anyhow, I think all you blue people out there are still going to vote for her because you guys are a bunch of dummies. And you see what you're getting here. She's going to really screw everybody over. But anyhow, that's your latest here. I just wanted to share with you my thoughts on the interview. And common sense says that you want to vote for that, then you're going to get screwed over. So if you vote blue, they will screw you. Show me your thoughts. Comment down below. Let me know what you think.